the homemade, do the homemade.
Homies over hoes, homies over hoes, homies over hoes, do the homemade.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to our channel.
What's really? Wow, you came back. That's crazy.
Right? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in again.
Well,
of course
we're always happy to have you. And if this is the first time coming, definitely you're gonna want to come back. So just go ahead and subscribe. We want you to come back. We want you to have nice things. So subscribe. It's gonna be fun. Trust. It's gonna be fun.
I'm your host Suzy, aka take a look at my makeup, aka I did it for y'all, aka just take a look at the detail, okay?
And it's your bitch Amaka, aka Jaja Gaboa, because it's drag season or whatever. In this house, it's some drag hoes in this house, and some hoes, and aka what's happening? Aka I'm having a nice day today. How are you? AKA I love y'all.
I love you guys. So today, guys, we're doing a reaction to a video that we found on YouTube that we just wanted to talk about it. We just love it.
I just thought we're gonna hear about it. Suzy told me about the video, and I just thought it's something that we should share on here. I don't know, it's just something so interesting. It's not a music video or anything. It's just a video. The title of the video is Why Elizabeth is a Badass Queen.
Today we're exploring why Elizabeth I was the most hardcore ruler England has ever seen.
Okay.
But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. Oh, and that's just not enough. Leave a comment and let us know what historical royalty you would like to hear about. Okay, it's time to do a deep dive on England's Virgin Queen, Elizabeth I.
She was the ultimate
She was with
single
the
lady.
streets.
The ultimate single lady.
Our girl Liz ruled the streets.
Liz
we stand the queen of the streets, you know?
The England that Elizabeth inherited in 1558 was not exactly picture perfect. Her dad, Henry VIII, had done what no other monarch had done before him. He expanded the monarchy by breaking up with the Catholic Church and making England a Protestant country. And let's just say, it wasn't an easy breakup. That religious rupture with Europe had profound effects and led to conflicts between Catholics and Protestants. England was a mess, torn apart by instability and in desperate need of a hashtag imperialist Navy-obsessed girl boss who wouldn't suffer fools. So after her father's death, Elizabeth took the throne as a young woman who was never supposed to be queen. She may not have looked it, but she was up to the task. Elizabeth wasn't a big dater. In fact, she was turned off by the whole marriage thing after the disastrous marriage politics of her father and older half-sister, Queen Mary I. Elizabeth's dad went through 6 wives over the course of his royal career, and Mary's marriage to a Spanish king inspired passionate outrage by her English subjects. Talking about a drama. Furthermore, Elizabeth's situation was delicate. As a woman, she risked...
She was really I ain't with that drama,
I'd rather be single.
losing her independence, since she already had plenty of people who doubted her capacity to rule. Marrying a foreign prince was a dance in foreign policy. Marrying a subject was a dance in domestic policy. And also, dating is hard in general. Can you imagine how much harder it would be if you were a literal queen? Instead of getting hitched, Elizabeth branded herself
We're
as a
literal
virgin.
queens, though.
We are little
All
queens,
happier,
and we're
but one
dating
mistress and no master. Even though many believed it was against the laws of nature for a woman to rule, Elizabeth proved them all wrong. By not marrying, she was able to preserve English autonomy and minimize factionalism amongst the English nobility. Or maybe she just wasn't a big fan of royal weddings. Either way, being single and ready to mingle served Elizabeth as well as England.
She defied the odds to inherit the throne.
Elizabeth was never really supposed to succeed the throne. She was her father's second daughter, officially at least. Though she was born legitimate in 1533, her standing in the royal family quickly changed when her mother, Anne Boleyn, fell from grace and was beheaded in 1536. Since her mom...
So her mom was the Anne girl. Her mom was Anne Boleyn, the mistress.
Oh, so she was illegitimate.
No, he married her. He
broke
to make sure that his mistress could be his wife.
Wow! And then he left her. No, and then she was beheaded. The queen was she was beheaded. Wait, I don't understand. Let's go back because that's crazy.
Born legitimate in 1533, her standing in the royal family quickly changed when her mother, Anne Boleyn, fell from grace and was beheaded in 1536. since her mom was
Just gotta throw your hands in the air.
Man having.
Why was she beheaded? Why did you just change the
Why did you go through all of that?
Why did you go through all of that just to like...
And at the end of the day, we're like...
He's like, oh, you didn't give me
Done
sons
with
yet.
you.
You haven't given me sons yet. Go. Like, please. No.
Okay.
You had one job, Anne. You had one job.
You couldn't do it. To the gallows. That's why I'm the head in charge.
Right? You gotta remind them. Like, this guy, men are like fools. This is foolish.
executed, that made Elizabeth become illegitimate and thus unlikely to ever succeed the throne. Most thought she wouldn't become queen ever, especially after her father had a son in 1537. Henry VIII's line of succession kept growing, pushing his red-haired
Once he got the son,
Yeah, once he got the son,
nothing was the same.
He
Like, you have to get the real picture. Like, y'all gonna paint,
Y'all gonna
paint
see my
it.
son.
Paint it.
Y'all better paint my son.
You know what I've been through to
don't
get
show
this?
me with no daughters. My
You
son.
know how we got here? All those other kids.
It took two heads.
All those other kids ain't real. Like legally blind. Like
They're not my real kids.
They're not my real kids. I don't know what happened. Like why they just claiming me. I don't know why everybody's trying to claim me. But
Like,
those are not my kids.
What are they talking about? Like,
Talking about calling me daddy. Who's your
daddy?
Okay. Wow.
legitimate daughter further and further down the line. But in a strange twist of fate, Liz's younger brother died in 1553. Suddenly, the crown passed to her sister Mary.
Fate.
Karma is that bitch. Karma is that bitch. Like yeah.
You went through all that to get a son.
You've been doing too
And
much.
your son's gone.
Let me show you a couple. Let me show you something. You know what? Hi, Mr. Henry. I'm gonna humble you down some notches. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. Sad that his son died. But
Yeah, it is sad.
Yes.
I can't. I can't.
Causing Elizabeth to move up the food chain. When Mary married Philip of Spain, no kids were born. Because she had no children, Mary named her younger half-sister as her heir. So when Elizabeth finally became queen in 1558, she succeeded because she was the last heiress of Henry VIII standing. It was a real...
Can you imagine?
Standing.
Like they only allowed her to be queen because I guess ain't nobody else gonna
there's
do
no one
the
else that
job.
can do the job. So
Like,
you win by default.
No one else applied for this position, so
You gotta keep
You
tradition
get it?
going. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why.
okay.
A slow and steady wins the crown situation.
She had a shit list like Santa Claus.
Hell hath no fury like an angry queen. As queen, Elizabeth expected that her courtiers should show her respect. But her well-known vanity often made it difficult for would-be spouses
She
to
was
wed
serving
under
looks.
Elizabeth's
She really
watchful
was.
eye. Several of her ladies-in-waiting, Bess Throckmorton and Catherine Grey, most notably, earned the Queen's scorn when they secretly married their lovers without the Queen's knowledge or permission. In fact, when Mary Shelton, the Queen's second cousin, secretly married John Scudamore without the Queen's permission, she suffered a broken finger when Elizabeth smacked her hand with her hairbrush. Yep, you heard that right.
She's
Queen
controlled.
Elizabeth I was a hairbrush smacking control freak who controlled all her friends' marriages. Very normal stuff. Men were just as likely to get on the royal
Funny you could do this shit with your friends to keep dating toxic people.
Right?
Talk about my spies told me that y'all were getting steak last night.
And I wasn't there.
And you know that nigga is toxic. You know that nigga's I told you severally.
Like,
to
how
leave
dare
him.
you
He's
go
cheated
out
on
with
you
him?
3 times. Now you're talking about getting steak? Executioner.
Off with her
Got some
head.
work to do now.
Off with her.
Off with their head. See that you're clearly not using it.
Is it bad we find this funny?
I don't even know. Do not judge. Do not judge.
Just as women, explorer Sir Walter Raleigh fell in and out of favor with Elizabeth. Dashing and headstrong courtier Robert Devereux, Lord Essex, tried her patience and flouted her command so incessantly and treasonously that he ultimately lost his head. Whoopsie!
The narrator.
She encouraged forms of piracy.
Oh, she was
The
putting it down
England
for
that
the
Elizabeth
birth
ruled
boys.
was a golden age of the arts, exploration, and weirdly, piracy. England's chief naval rival was Spain, and English privateers stole buckets of goods and money from Spanish ships traveling to and from the Americas. Spain complained bitterly that English so-called privateers ransacked their ships, but Elizabeth did nothing to curb the exploits of men like Sir Walter Raleigh and Sir Francis Drake. In fact, she rewarded piracy.
She was a gang leader now.
She's like, go ahead.
Run up on him.
Run up on him if you gotta run
I'm
up
gonna
on
get
him.
my boy strapped.
If you gotta
run up on him.
do it. You gotta do it.
Gotta
Just
do what
do
you
it.
gotta do. Gotta get bag, you know, hit a lick.
Sometimes they don't just react well just to conversation.
Sometimes like you come like, hey guys, can I get some? No.
No.
So I mean you gotta
So like, can I get some?
Can I get some now? Or not, like I thought so.
I thought so.
She was really. Why is it that like this is such it's something that you have to describe a woman as someone who's brainy and sporty?
Yeah.
Like women can be beautiful and intelligent. Those things are not mutually exclusive. They can be those things simultaneously. Women are sporty. Women are smart. Women are intellectual. Women are athletic. Women are so many things.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a shocking thing. This is not like, oh shit, damn.
Like what? Like she played sports? Wow, she's so different.
Was smart.
She's smart.
Damn.
Wow. okay. She's different.
She's different. Ooh.
Elizabeth may have been vain, but she was also the perfect combo of beauty and brains. She proved to be a queen who liked activity and educational study in equal measures. She was extremely educated and well-read. She was fluent in no less than 6 languages other than her native English: Latin, French, Greek, Spanish, Italian, and Welsh.
I always wanted to learn more
She was
than one
extremely
language.
Considering the British Empire, what they're good at is going to places when no one invited them to do the
She had to learn how to
Yes, this is not even impressive.
Educated and well-read. Not just a bookworm, Liz the Virgin was also an unapologetic jock. She was an avid hunter and horsewoman, and her court was famous for dancing the night away.
Yes, queen.
But oh shit, the same court that she'd be murdering.
Entire country at your disposal, you'd probably
Wouldn't it be uncomfortable to
read your astrology.
Wouldn't it be so uncomfortable to party with her? If you step on her foot, it's just like get away.
Off of their head.
Off of their head. You're gonna dance like this.
Isn't that? Wow, okay.
You want it, right? Well, that's what Elizabeth did when she was queen. One of Elizabeth's most trusted advisors was actually someone who believed in alchemy and astrology. John Dee, or Dr. Dee as he was called, was one of the most respected men of science in the Elizabethan world. He was a mathematician.
I'm sorry, but these spirits.
I know, they're crazy. No, they this is a
A
different world.
scientist,
This is
an
a whole
alchemist,
different world.
and an astrologer whose counsel Elizabeth routinely sought. In fact, Dee encouraged Elizabeth's imperial politics and was steadfast in his belief that the future of England was in North America. Sounds like a total Scorpio if you ask me. Dee wasn't just a man of astrology and science, he was also kind of a goth kid. His particular interest in the occult brought interesting characters into his life. For years, Dee turned to Edward Kelly for his own spiritual
Wait, did
guidance.
they say the future of England is in North America?
Shit, damn,
That's what
when?
That's what they said here. Let's rewind, please. Let's rewind.
Dee,
let's
or
check
Dr. Dee as he was called, was one of the most respected men of science in the Elizabethan world. He was a mathematician, a scientist, an alchemist, and an astrologer whose counsel Elizabeth routinely sought. In fact, Dee encouraged Elizabeth's imperial politics and was steadfast in his belief that the future of England was in North America. Sounds like a total Scorpio if you ask me. Dee wasn't just a man of...
Our future is not here, it's there.
It's there.
We gotta
We
go
have to
take
go.
that.
We have to go. Who cares who's there?
No wonder she supported piracy.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
They put up on these.
They're actually gangsters. Oh my gosh, these are actually gangsters. Give me your land.
I'm just here to take everything.
I'm just here to take it.
Oh, you didn't invite me. It doesn't matter. Now I rule this shit.
Now I rule
it's
this
mine
shit.
now.
Mhm. Oh my
astrology and
gosh.
science. He was also kind of a goth kid. His particular interest in the occult brought interesting characters into his life. For years, Dee turned to Edward Kelly for his own spiritual guidance. Edward Kelly, of course, was known to have secret occult knowledge and claimed that he could communicate with angels. Also, fun fact, Dee was probably the real-life inspiration for the character of Prospero in William Shakespeare's The Tempest.
Ooh, I love that story.
Yeah.
She was a cougar.
She was a cougar.
7 days a week.
Hey.
Virgin doesn't mean you have to actually abstain from sex, right? Indeed, throughout her reign, Elizabeth hooked up with
I'm a
one list
virgin
of
now.
royal
Don't
adjacent
understand.
faves. Most notably was Robert Dudley, the Earl of Essex, who was a companion and advisor to the Queen for several decades. Some scholars even believe that Dudley was actually the love of her life. Elizabeth was a known appreciator of male beauty and maintained flirtations with the Duke of Anjou, a prospective husband, Sir Walter Raleigh, and Thomas Heneage. As she aged, she made no doubt her flirting.
Like,
towards the end of her reign, the young Robert
she'll miss them after.
her former favorite Robert Dudley rose quickly in her favor, despite the fact
Like Megan Thee Stallion. I fuck these niggas, then I kick him to the dope. Okay.
he was 33 years younger than the Queen. Someone get a tracking device because this cougar is on the hunt. Meow. Rob flirted his way into royal appointments, and their relationship.
Why is she a cougar? Like, do you know how many kings like super young girls? Like, what do you mean?
And his star.
Right? Like, no term for her because she's...
Sadly, the relationship ended after he led a rebellion against Gloriana. Elizabeth broke things off with him.
That's like the original, like, you know, like,
Her stepdad is a pervert. Who?
As a teen, Elizabeth spent part of her time with her widowed stepmother, Catherine Parr, who had been her father's sixth and final wife. After the death of her royal husband, Parr had married Thomas Seymour in 1547, and Seymour moved in with his new wife and her 14-year-old stepdaughter. Anyway, Liz's new pseudo-stepdad started being really creepy. He harassed the poor teen by tickling her and accidentally walking in when she was nude. This caused quite a stir. Catherine caught on to this scandal quickly and gave it the kibosh. Furious, Catherine sent Elizabeth away in a bid to separate them. Tabloid-esque rumors followed the young princess, suggesting that she was...
She sent her daughter away instead of protecting her daughter.
Yeah, she sent her away.
Instead of actually sending the predator away. Damn, history, y'all.
History repeats
Y'all been
itself.
doing it.
Like, it repeats itself.
Y'all been doing it from time. That's crazy.
Was pregnant with Seymour's child. The rumors, however, weren't true. But some speculate that her predatory stepfather relationship is what turned her off to future relationships with men.
So we had a hard life.
Yeah.
In 1554, Elizabeth's sister Mary, who was the Queen of England at the time, became deeply suspicious of her younger sister. In the wake of Wyatt's rebellion, Mary feared Elizabeth could potentially usurp the throne. As a result, Mary imprisoned her sister in the Tower of London for several months in the spring of 1554.
Her own sister.
Elizabeth toiled away
Why'd she
in
do
that
it?
tower,
Like-
locked up and miserable for months. The guilt of imprisoning Elizabeth must have eaten away at Mary because eventually she did name Elizabeth as her only heir days before her death 4 years later.
Okay. She supported the arts and gave her nation
A literary golden age. Okay.
The Elizabethan era is known as a golden age in English history, a time when the literary arts popped off. This is largely due to the fact that England was relatively
When you say it like that, the time of the literary ads pop off. Okay.
peaceful throughout Elizabeth's reign. Due to peace throughout the land, this guy named Shakespeare was able to try out a few plays, and this other guy, Sir Edmund Spenser, tried his hand.
This guy named Shakespeare.
This guy named
Which means to
Shakespeare,
try a
right?
couple
Like,
plays.
it's not really about him, but like y'all
But like
know
this
him.
is this guy, like I don't know if y'all heard about him or never.
This
Like he's just a
Shakespeare.
casual Shakespeare.
Elizabeth also cultivated a literary court, and many of her courtiers were themselves poets, like Sir Philip Sidney and Thomas Sackville.
Spy Master. Spy Master assassination plot.
Okay.
Since Elizabeth ascended to the throne,
Of
in the
course,
most
we already know she
unlikely
keeps cutting people's heads
circumstances,
off,
it was
so
natural
what's
she
new?
felt a little paranoid about her power. Intelligence was thus important to her security, and so she kept a spy master around, Sir Francis Walsingham. Walsingham was an ardent Protestant, and much of his intelligence
Look
was
at that
meant
whole
to
get up right
mitigate
here. Like,
Catholic Spain.
come on now.
He already even looks like a spy. Like, he's
Yeah,
like a
she
snitch.
looks like a snitch. Like, right? The one at the
That's
party's
something
like,
to tell you.
I have something to tell you about this one.
That's your friend.
That's not your friend.
That's your friend. She getting married. You need to end it. Like
need to end
you need
it.
to do something about it right away.
We're doing it, right?
Should I just tell them? Or do you want to tell them? Like.
The country. Walsingham also worked with his agents to code and decode letters. A true 16th century James Bond. The Babington plot in 1586 was an attempt to assassinate Elizabeth I and intended to replace her with her Catholic cousin Mary, the exiled Queen of Scotland, aka Mary Queen of Scots.
AKA Mary Queen of Scots.
To allow Spanish forces to
AKA.
The plot, hatched by its namesake Anthony Babington and John Ballard, was as brazen as it was treasonous. Elizabeth's spymaster Francis Walsingham used his master spy skills and uncovered the plot, thwarting it completely. This did, however, lead to the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary was lured into the plot by Walsingham himself, who, in double agent style, lured her into the arrangement so he could gain evidence she was a tangible threat to Elizabeth's throne. Sneaky. Lover or hater, it's clear that Queen Elizabeth I's reign of England restored the chaotic, turmoil-filled nation to powerful empire status. Between her navy building and arts encouraging, it's clear that Liz has forever cemented her place in history as one of the most memorable and hardcore queens of all time.
She restored England to empire status. She did things for her followers. She achieved so many things. And I guess it's interesting because this is not something that women of that time were able to do. Like, you can't get to, like, power was something that was relative to a man. A man had to be able to give you that power, but she took the power and she held on to it,
and she kept dragging it and going.
And then her actions spoke louder than her words because she was about that. She did do it for England. She did help them with their, their thievery around the world.
Like, history shows you, history tells you like what it is when there's a woman that's ruling. Like, this is not the only queen. Look at how many queens there are that have this point legacy, of ruling, like have this legacy, and how they have saved their countries or their nations just because they were in charge. Like, guys, come on now. We all know
men
about
will
them.
be trying to mansplain to you at the same job that you're working at, like at the same course that you're taking, and they're even failing. I just have to throw in a little foolery at the end of the very important thing we were saying, but it's whatever. We're just gonna end with the subscribe dance. Let's go.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe, like, comment. Okay. Okay, that's enough foolery.
Okay.
Love you guys. Bye. See you in our next video.
See you in the next video.